Whether you are in your retirement years, heading there, or nowhere close, we have great things to share with all stationary RVers, and many of our tips work for nomad RVers as well. So stay tuned for this week's amazing tips, tricks, and tested products. Come on in. I'm so glad you stopped by today. I want to show you my RV because I love it. And I have one little caveat today. I'm having a terrible time learning how to bring the right colors into my photography. So please bear with me. I know it looks like a brown drab kind of living space, but it's not really. It's a nice muted gray, and the black and white goes beautifully with it. Someday I'll get this right and I'll show you. So welcome to our living room, and you'll see here that we actually took out the table that came with the RV, and we put in this desk situation. Now, I don't know that I'm always going to need this mount, but for now I do, and then eventually as my work reduces, some of this will come out and open it up a little bit more. This is my couch right next to the desk, and I have my own little blankie on here, so when I get cold, because you probably can see through the windows, it's snowed recently. So this is my little place to settle. And then up here we have a place where the grandkids love to sleep when they come and visit. We're also using it for some easily removable storage space too. But we do leave things like pillows and blankets up there because obviously when the grandkids are here, they use those. And then we have on this side our fireplace, which we use every day. We use it either for a little bit of heat, or we use it just for the ambiance of having the fireplace on, especially in the winter. You know, it's one of those psychological things that make you feel a little bit warmer. TV works fine. Now these cupboards, well, let me show you here this first one. We rarely use this, and I'm very curious how many of you use the sound system that comes with your RV. Because everybody either has Netflix or Prime or other movie kinds of subscriptions, you rarely need to use these CDs anymore. But these are some that we don't want to get rid of. We play them with the grandkids. Some of them we just like to watch now and then. And so we are feeling like we need to keep them at this point. I have a little bit of space in here. This is music, some books, a little bit of space here. And this is our go area for Izzy. So when we go places, she's got her own little bag, some storage things, and some more music up there, in particular Christmas music. Now in this area up here, this is where we stored a lot of our supplies when we moved out of our business. And I do use them quite a bit, and they're dwindling down in number. And as that happens, which is going to be very soon, I'm going to be reorganizing these cupboards up here, and I'm going to move more of the supplies this way because those two cabinets I want to use for some more of the kitchen space. As many of you know, the 395 Momentum has a very, very small kitchen. We're going to show you that in a minute. And so storage is prime, especially if you want it close to your kitchen space. So a couple of the things that we've brought into our living room is the area rugs. And I actually have some guards underneath these, and it gives us a little bit more, another layer between the cold floor because we're in the mountains of Colorado, so it gets very, very cold. These little $19 cubes are amazing. And by having this here, Izzy's able to jump up here, to jump up on the couch to get into her spot. But it's also storage. So when Bob does some of his business work, he just stores his stuff in there because that's his seat over here. We also have this amazing little end table, which flips up, and it has, I'll link the link above here, the opportunity to use it as an electric outlet, or it has USB charging station in there as well. And then it actually has electric cord. Obviously it needs a power supply that goes behind the couch, and we have it plugged in to an extension cord. Now, what this does though, it allows power right here in the middle of our living room, which you wouldn't have otherwise. This is an amazing find. The surprise we found in our living room is underneath this middle cushion right there. Huge amount of storage. We have, well, there's a video I'm going to link above here that you can take a look and see the 6 containers we were able to put in there, plus a few more extra things. So that's our living room. Hey, come on into the garage. Let me show you around. The thing I like about having a toy hauler, one of them obviously is the garage. You just have so much more space when you're living in a tiny home. If you have an extra space, you can put things in. And that's what this garage does for us. So for instance, we can have a pantry unit. Now I have done a video where I really explained everything that's in here, and you'll be able to watch that video next. I'll leave a link above. So a few other kinds of things that I enjoy is we have an extra little refrigerator back here. Even though I think the 18 cubic foot refrigerator you have in this particular toy hauler is really ample, especially for the 2 of us, having this extra one is important for us in particular because, as I've mentioned before, Bob is a fishing guide, and in the summer this is where his worms go and they don't have to go in my refrigerator. He has his cowboy hot tub, which I explained in the other video is very important to him. And then in the winter we are able to use the treadmill. It does fold down and fold back up. So even though this space is really tight back here, we're able to do quite a bit in it. And in the back corner, this is where I keep my extra kitchen appliances and just a miscellaneous bunch of stuff that every household needs. And this freezer is a Montgomery Ward's 1974 freezer. We bought it when we got married and it's still running, and we utilize it all the time. It's great to be able to have this in our toy hauler. And then of course it has storage up here. And you'll see that this stuff up here can come down very easily because this is a bed, and this bed can actually go down right above the freezer, and it does allow for us to have guests up there should we wish to do that. The washer and dryer was one of those non-negotiables for me. I needed to have it in my home. We were able to get this apartment washer dryer because that way we didn't have a front load, we had a top load washer. Now this is where that bed is really valuable. By having all that storage space, we try to put as much as possible in clear containers or self-identifying containers. So if there's something we need, we can just pull it down quickly, use the materials, and put them right back. These curtains pull and close off the messy area when we do not want it to be seen. And then up here, Bob actually put this extra piece of wood up there to make this shelf hold things, in particular Izzy's extra food and stuff. Another bonus for us, a half bath. So therefore we now have 2 bathrooms. Bob can have his and I can have mine. And then finally we have on this side another set of pantry cupboards and canned food storage. So you can see in this 12-foot garage we're able to put a lot of things to make our home more livable for us in a tiny space. One of the disappointing things that I found when we first moved in was this pantry. I mean, it looks great because you got a full door here. You expect a pretty big pantry. But the shelves in here are only 5 inches deep, which means you have to be pretty creative to make this work for you. But I think we did it. So we use these containers that I got from a combination of Walmart and Amazon, and we have pretty much stacked them like a puzzle to get the best use of our space in here. And then these recently came from the Dollar Tree. They're obviously just $1, but they're perfect for small quantities. And then I had Bob put these lightweight separators in here so that they wouldn't fall over, and it fits perfect. Somebody wants to say hi. Okay, say hi to everybody. So I guess the trick in any RV is figuring out your space, and then figure out the very best way you could utilize it so that it doesn't go to waste. This was a real problem for me because it is a corner cabinet and I had dishes in it. So what happened was I had like glasses in here and a few other things, and it just didn't work. No matter how I tried to rearrange it, it didn't work. And I had my spices in a cupboard over here that was really hard for me to actually get into. So I switched them around. This is where all my spices and things are, and it's working really great. In this one we have, this is a very awkward cabinet, but we have cups and glasses and miscellaneous things pretty much in here, because you can see how hard it is to get in there. I do like the farm style sink. I like it being open because we can do a variety of things in this sink. One, like bathe Izzy when she needs it. And yet in order to do dishes, it's so much easier to have the dish pans. And this little set that you can get from Walmart really works great. So we just have a mat we put up here, put the strainer on top of it. When we're done, we put it back here. There's a little hook. We hook onto it, it dries out, and it's ready for the next time, and you don't even see it. The refrigerator is a standard 18 cubic foot that a lot of these have. It is gas. Now what I am seeing from a lot of other RV content creators is that they really are suggesting you look at the residential. Especially if you're stationary, it might be a better deal for you. If you do travel, you just have to decide. If you're going to boondock a lot, might not be the best bet unless you have a ton of solar and solar batteries. But that's something you'll need to weigh, but I suggest you at least take a look at that. The stove and the microwave are fine. Okay, you know what happens when women say fine. It means it's just kind of sort of okay. I do use my oven a lot, but all of a sudden it's had a very difficult time in starting and heating up. So what we've done is we brought in this toaster oven that we had at our business, and we put it in storage, and it's come in handy. So I think the lesson with this is don't go out and buy something. Don't go out and replace your oven. Don't go out and buy something new. Check and see what you might have in your storage or in your home somewhere else that you can use until such a time you can make a wise decision and a wise purchase. This cabinet I've talked about before. It was in our home, and it was all pretty much this blonde wood. I just painted it. But this is where we have all of our silverware, and then again, most of our dishes and our bowls and everything fit down here. This makes it incredibly convenient. The added value of having this here as well, especially now that we have this extra tabletop oven, is that we can have a cutting board here. Actually, this goes on top of here. And this gives me extra prep space as well as just extra counter space in our RV. This was probably one of the smartest decisions we came up with, and I mean Bob. This obviously flips up and down to make your counter space a little wider, which you need in this tiny little area. However, because we don't have the dining room table and chairs, we bought these little stools from Walmart, and it's just the two of us, although we have a couple more stools in case people come over. But the two of us fit very nicely here when it's time to eat. And I do like to use these little placemats that I put in here because it just makes it feel a little bit more like, you know, an appropriate dining space. And it separates it. Now, I also many times, especially if we have a guest over, I will put the cover for the sink, and that extends that a little bit wider as far as a tabletop. If we have more guests, then I suggest you take a look at our holiday video about having people come over during holiday dinners. And we have a really clever way of having 4 or more people having dinner with us. Now, at one time we had our toaster over here, and what we found out was that it was actually too hot up in here and it was melting the outlet cover. So we had to find a different place for it. The only place it would fit is where my coffee pot was. But this turned out to be a very nice little coffee area. Again, it's in a little bit of an awkward area, so it's not a space that I use a lot. It turned out to be a perfect space for the coffee bar. We have our spices on top of the stove here, and I actually had one of the smaller ones melt a bit. And then Bob made a discovery. If you take the stove top and you lift it up all the way back, it will actually stay up on its own. And it would take a lot to make it come forward, but what this does now is I can have a pan on the back burner, and it is a shield between the wall and the spices. So it works really great. And then when you're done, obviously, you just put it back down and you have a nice looking stovetop. That's our kitchen. It's really hard to be in the bathroom and have somebody tape you, so I'm just giving you a little brief view of our bathroom. It's very standard. I do have a video, which I'll link above, where we did a few accommodations, and I'm going to show you that. And then I've got a revamp of the cabinet drawers that's going to be coming very soon. So don't forget to like and subscribe so you'll know when that comes out. If you're new to RVing, one of the most important things to invest in is command hooks and command strips. You are going to use those everywhere in your RV, in particular in your bathroom. These really heavy duty ones will even hold wire shelving that I actually have little glass decanters in, so it's pretty heavy and it holds it. The other thing that is a must is one of these toilet paper holders that will hold several rolls of toilet paper. The thing I like about these bedrooms, particularly in the Momentum, is that it has everything you need, plenty of space, but because you're not in here very long, it's not a bunch of wasted space. So a couple of the things that we've done to make this very comfortable for us is, first of all, we chose the queen size bed instead of the king size, and that's so that we could both have an end table. Neither one of us wanted to give that up, so the compromise was we go from a king bed to the queen bed. The other thing is we do have the little plastic drawers on each side of the bed here, and that's because Miss Izzy is the nosiest little puppy there ever was, and so this allows us to put things by our bed without her getting into them. And I'm going to show you a picture of how I hang some of my costume jewelry, and pretty much in here it's not a very easily accessible place, so things up here are things we don't use very often. So in my case, I've got some extra purses and just miscellaneous things up there. We pretty much both keep our personal medications in our side cupboards. I'll put an insert of our closet, and you can actually watch a video on how we redid that, and I'll link it above as well. The other thing that we have purchased for this bedroom is this ottoman here, and that is a dual-sided, it lifts up, and we store boots and suitcase things and travel bags and things like that in it for easy accessibility. When we purchased the RV, there was actually a smaller, like a 26-inch TV that came in the garage. Well, we didn't need a TV in the garage. We were going to be using it as a garage. So we had them actually mounted into the bedroom. And then Bob actually bought a newer mount, a larger one, and a larger 32-inch screen TV. Now, we don't watch TV in here a lot, but when we do, it's nice to be able to have that feature. Obviously, like most of the RV beds, this one does lift up for storage underneath it. We primarily put our Christmas decorations, our seasonal clothing in there, and a few other miscellaneous items. The other thing I'll mention too is in many of the toy haulers, you'll see that the bed goes this way with a slide out sometimes, and the slide out's pretty small, instead of going into the nose of the fifth wheel. I particularly like it this way because we get a larger closet, we get 2 end tables, and I don't have to sleep next to the wall because you know Bob isn't going to be crawling in and out of a bed. And there you have it, the tour of our home in all its lived-in glory. We've been here 2.5, almost 3 years now, and this is what our home looks like. Thank you for stopping by. We look forward to seeing you next week. We hope you enjoyed today's video and that you got a couple good ideas. If you liked it, would you please do us the favor of liking and subscribing? Thanks. Until next time, bye-bye.